Good afternoon, everyone. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to season Convo with your hosts, Cayenne Pepper and Paprika.
Yay.
Look at us. We matching today.
Yes,
Yeah.
had all the same
We
idea.
were at the same, not the same salon, but
No,
in our minds, we were at the same salon picking the same colors.
look at this. You know,
Same
you got your shoulders out. I got mine
got
out.
my shoulders out today because it's nice outside. Can you say it's gonna be like 100 degrees?
Yep. Didn't even plan this. Didn't plan these two.
Didn't plan this out. You were in my closet. I was in your closet. I was at your salon. You was at my salon. Say what? You know we've been friends for a very long time.
I know. Because
Yay!
we didn't have time to plan it because someone had to wake me up. But anyway.
But it's okay. We're not going to even go there today. But we want to welcome you all to Season Combo, episode 9. We are talking about, what's our topic today? Let's check this out. Our topic today is when Mr. Right came along. When Mr. Right came along, all else ceased. The world stopped.
It did. It made me do duck lips.
Ooh, duck lips. First and foremost, we want to thank God for allowing us to be here today, for us to be able to do this with you all. We appreciate you all that are on TikTok. We appreciate all of our subscribers, all of our listeners, all of our followers. You can catch us on YouTube or you can catch us on Spotify, as well as you can watch our little snippets on TikTok. On Instagram, and we are working towards getting our Facebook page up, but give us some grace because we're learning this whole podcast thing.
Whoa.
And we're pretty excited about it. So with that being said, let's jump into this topic. You ready?
Let's roll.
How did we know that we had Mr. Right? How did we know we had Mr. Right?
When Mr. Right came and shut it down.
He shut it
That's
down.
how I knew. That's how I knew.
How do you shut it down, Paprika?
Mr. Right was like, I ain't like them other ones you used to mess with. Okay?
He won't the same.
I was like, no, I'm gonna do it my way. I was like, no, I got this. I'm gonna do this. No. Okay, you gonna let me be a man or not in this relationship? Because if you're not gonna let me be a man, then we're not gonna do this.
He said, let me put my pants on. You take yours off.
Yeah, because because we wore the pants a lot, didn't we?
We're gonna talk about that. We sure did.
We wore the pants a lot. So yeah, Mr. Right shut it down all the way down.
He shut it down. He came in and put the brakes on everything.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Like Sugar Bear did the same thing. Sugar Bear said, to her, you gonna sit it down, chick. Looking at me like this.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
you know what I'm saying? We gonna do this or we gonna do this. And I think that was the main thing. Oh, my camera's like not focused. There we go. That was one of the things that was like a breath of fresh air. Because you
absolutely. Oh my gosh. Wasn't it a breath of fresh air?
You ain't coming in and taking me away.
Just like the weight of the world
just lifted off your shoulders when you know you had someone that was really on your side that wanted to be with you.
Yep.
For you, and it wasn't no more running after trying to figure out where you at, what you doing.
Yep.
No more detective work. Needed to be
no more being breaking codes.
No more breaking codes. Wink. No more breaking code. None of that. All of it.
Also the fact that we didn't have to continue to do everything. We had, we didn't have to, be the one to make all of the decisions for this, for that.
Right. We didn't. We actually had, or should I say we have, a partner that we do it all together. Right.
Yep.
And I think that was when we knew that it was Mr. Right. And it was our soulmate. And this is what God sent us, right? Because we got to a point, it's like, I'm tired of this, Lord. This is getting old, and then you learn. I think we learned a lot.
Yeah, we did.
Our experiences in our previous relationships.
Yeah.
We knew what we wanted. We knew what we were looking for. We knew how we wanted to be accepted and appreciated and loved. All of those things mattered. And we knew how to express that after having the experiences that we had, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it was definitely a breath of fresh air.
Yes,
Some
absolutely. A breath of fresh
all the
air.
good butterflies, they were there and they
Mm-hmm.
still there. And
Still
that's when
there, yeah.
you know
Mm-hmm.
that you with the person that you're supposed to be
Yeah.
with.
Now,
Because
now, now on the other side of that, does Mr. Right get on my nerves sometimes?
ooh,
Yes, absolutely. Because I know I get on his.
do we have some tough times? Yes, sometimes we do. But one
Right.
thing about it is the difference I know in my scenario is there's no arguing over here. We don't we have
Oh, nope.
no arguing. We talk
None.
everything.
I
If
know.
there's
Isn't that
something
good? Isn't that so good that we don't have
that
to do that
is
anymore?
so,
We
so
just, it's like it's like a conversation instead of be like,
yes.
you know how I used to be. I'd be like, beep, 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 you beep.
Be
Yep.
pulling up. Ooh,
Yep.
what are you doing over here? Where are you?
Yep.
You didn't tell me you was coming. None
Yeah.
of those, all of that is such a breath of fresh air when
Yeah.
you just have someone that want to be with you and this, is
Mm-hmm.
not out in the world trying to still figure out who they are. They
Yeah.
matured past that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've matured too, so we know how to be a little submissive. We'll talk about
Yeah.
that in a
Oh,
minute
yeah.
because
Yep.
that took some work to do. But to your
Mm.
point, it's tough. Sometimes times are hard and things are not going to be perfect,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-mm.
I mean, we know that, but
Yeah.
it's good to know that we are able to talk through, know
Mm-hmm.
when to walk away and say, okay, let me just think about this before I respond because I don't ever
Yep.
want to regret anything I say. I've learned that along the way. I think you have
Mm-hmm.
too,
Yep.
where we'll pop off. Our mouths will pop off.
Yes. And not everything requires a response.
Everything does not.
Everything
Everything
does
does
not
not.
require.
Sometimes it's just for you to kind of sit back and think
Yep.
about it and also pray on it.
That's right. And I believe all the relationships that we were in,
Hmm.
that we have been in, got us ready for where we are right now.
Amen to that. Yes, got us
Mhm.
to a place where we are willing, excuse the phone, we are, willing and able to work through anything we that we go through.
Mhm.
So I think that is a maturity as well as growth in learning
Mhm.
about ourselves, doing some self-reflection.
Yes. Oh boy, yes.
We have to self-reflect when it comes to yourself. And sometimes in relationships, people don't do that. You just come into these relationships and you have all these expectations, but you
Mhm.
can't, you shouldn't have expectations. You should have things that you're willing to work through.
That's right.
You're willing to make your partner feel
Mhm.
the love and feel appreciated.
Yeah.
There's all of those things that come with that you play a part in it,
Mhm.
but not false expectations, not putting
Yeah.
false expectations because
Expectations on. That's right.
we can't
That,
change anybody.
no, that's
People are
huge.
gonna be who they are, right?
And
We don't see
that's what makes it good. You know,
because we're
that's what
different.
makes, yeah, that's
We're
what makes it
different.
good.
And we also balance, the balance that you have,
Mhm.
because I'm more like I'm ADHD and like everything is if it's a fire and it's on fire. Sugar Bear just the opposite. It's
Yep.
not a fire. It's just we just have to take care
Yeah.
of that. And I'd be
Me,
like,
me too.
ooh,
Yeah.
I'd
I'm
be
just all over the
I'd
place.
be stressing. I'd be like, come on now, we got to get that quick,
Yeah.
fast,
And
hurry, take.
meanwhile, they're on the couch like, the
Yes.
game, come on.
They're on the couch, like, not even worried about it, like,
Okay.
it's gonna
What you
take
eating for
care of
dinner
itself.
tonight? What we eating?
Yes,
I'm like,
yes,
man, you see me in here stressing out. Jerry, check his head. Oh, what we eating?
I know, right? And we ain't bit more think about no food because we trying to fix whatever's broken,
Uh-huh.
we going through at the moment, right?
Right.
It is, that's something, but
But
yeah.
then we realize after, seeing how they behave, we realize, you know what? It really
Yeah,
wasn't such a big deal after all,
and then you realize too, when God shows you, when everything works out the
Yeah.
way it's supposed to, there's no obstacles, there's no fighting against, there's no struggle, then you
Mhm.
know that that person is for you, right?
Yep.
That's how
Oh,
did
oh
you
yeah. Yeah. Agree.
that was a thing. It was like everything just fell into place and now here we are married. Can you believe it? I'll be married 16 years.
Gosh,
Ah,
that's crazy.
yeah, we're going 16 years, been together for what, 18? Yeah. And
Wow.
you?
Let's see. Mickey and I got married in 2019. So it was like 21, 2, 3. So what, 6 years? We've been married
Mhm.
6 years, I think.
I've
And
known
then I
each
think
other a long
we
time.
I know, and we got so this is how I look at it. Mickey is gonna be 62 come
Mhm.
July.
Mhm.
We met when I was 45 and he was turning 50.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
that is. But you know what? That goes to show it's not in our timing.
No, I was 43. Sorry. I was 43 and he was because yeah, 7 years apart. So I was 43 and he was turning 50. Yep.
But that goes to show it's not in
Mhm.
our timing.
Yep.
It's in
That's right.
God's timing.
Mm-hmm.
So those of you out there that's looking for that perfect relationship, sometimes God puts us through some things
Woo.
for us to learn a little bit about ourselves and also try to
Yeah.
figure out where he wants us to be.
Yeah.
And we allow him to do that and allow him to bring Mr. Right our way. That's what we did.
Yep.
Boy, oh boy.
Yeah,
If
and when you said that, sometimes God makes us go, and then but the thing is that it's like he showed you the one time this is
mhm,
not what you're supposed to be in, or
right.
this type of relationship. But no, you know how we do.
You keep going back
You're
in the
going back to the
same time.
same
It's
mess.
like you're attracted to those types of relationships, right? And
Yep.
even though God has already shown us, no, that is not the relationship that I have for you. That is not what you're supposed to be going through. You're not supposed to be stressing in a relationship.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, ain't that the truth?
Oh my goodness.
Ain't that
Such
that's
a
a
breath.
word right there.
We gonna say just such a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, weight off the shoulders.
Weight off the shoulders, breath of
Mhm.
fresh air.
Yeah.
Now, what's different about this relationship or this marriage that we have that's different from others? You know, how can you, and not to compare, and I'm not comparing because I don't want to say, you
Yeah.
know, it's this, but
Mhm.
what's different? I mean, what can elaborate on about what you can tell is different
I
about
think,
yourself or
yeah, I
about the
think it's
relationship itself?
me. I think I'm different because I opened up to allow, you know,
Mhm.
I took off the guard, I took off the plastic, took all that off. But yeah, I think I'm different,
You
which
took the
makes
wall down,
the wall is down. Yeah.
and we'll
The
talk about the tennis shoes later.
Yes, we'll talk about them later. But yeah, the wall is down. But yeah, I think I'm different because I realized I had to change me because there was a lot of things that there was a lot of I was, even though you know how we don't want to look at ourselves. And at some point you gotta be like, wait, why is all this
Right.
happening like this? So
Right. It's
yeah.
like why after a while you start seeing a cycle, right? And you're
Yep.
like, why does this cycle keep continuing? But then
Hmm.
when you realize the common denominator in the cycle
Me.
is hello, it's me. So you got to make some adjustments,
Yep.
right?
That's
So
right.
we had to make adjustments to get where we are
Hmm.
today, learning how to accept ourselves first, you know,
Hmm.
love on ourselves a lot more,
Hmm.
know our worth and what we are worth as women,
Hmm. Yeah,
um,
that's right.
learning, you know, what we are willing to and wanting to go through and
Hmm.
wanting to be our ideal relationship that we're
Hmm.
looking for.
Hmm.
And once we got to that point to realizing what we were looking for, then God said, okay, now you're ready.
Yeah, you're
You
ready.
know, you're ready to kind of receive what I'm willing to give you
Hmm.
and also understand that it's not going to be perfect and you're not perfect. We're not, none of us are,
Mm-mm.
but with him, he guides us through our any of the hard times that we have.
Mhm,
And it goes to show what the vows are that we take in, you know, through better or for worse.
mhm.
What was previously in relationships, the worst when it got too bad, nobody was really, I ain't trying to do all that
Nope.
because it's just too tough, right? So it's easier to say, okay, I'm just gonna throw my hands up and throw in the towel
Yep.
without really
Mhm,
sticking
yep.
it out,
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
But it has to be a two-way street. I always
Yeah.
say this is a partnership that's a two-way street. If one
Mhm.
person is out of sync, then the relationship is going to be out of sync.
That's
But I
right.
think we have mastered how to keep it leveled, right? And
Mhm.
also knowing when the signs are that you need to sit down and have a conversation because you know what, I'm feeling a little distant here.
Yeah.
What's going on? Because not everybody shares
That's right.
what's going on in their mind at the
Mm-hmm.
time that it's going on because emotions, they turn all the time. But yeah, to your point, yes, I agree. We have to change us. So listeners, you have to look at yourself, do some
Mm-hmm.
self-reflection and what you want in a relationship and also be accountable, for you're doing in a relationship and what you're doing and how you're also responsible for it. It's not a one-way street. We're all responsible. Both
Mm-hmm.
parties are responsible. So we're thankful for that. We got Sugar Bear and Mixture
Yep.
over there. It's like they're our hands. Our other hand, when the other hand ain't working, they the other hand.
Ain't that the
Um,
truth?
so they're our backbone and we appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
now let's talk about the work it took to trust after a long life of of some of the relationships that we were in that broke our trust, that
Mm-hmm.
made us put walls up,
Mm-hmm.
that we didn't know if we was going to be able to chisel those walls down,
Yeah.
um, and then not run away when times get tough,
Mm-hmm.
or should I say, as we used to say, take our tennis shoes off and stop running.
Sorry. I know.
Stop running away from
Yeah.
some of the goodness that we had
Mhm.
and sticking it out.
Yeah.
So, what did it take for you to break down and start
Mhm.
trusting again?
Tell you, you know, I guess perspective. I think I had to look at, um, I guess I had to look at it at every time I think that somebody's going outside, then they're going to do whatever. They had to change perspective on that because that's not the intent, you know, it's
That's
not.
not the know all be all, right? But that's what
No.
we tend to thought. We thought that
Yeah.
we tend to think that that's what was happening every time
Mhm.
something was not the norm of what we were
Yeah.
used
Right.
to. We'd be like, something's wrong.
Yeah.
They got to be out there doing it with somebody else or talking to
Hmm.
somebody else. And then, of course, that causes a lot of strife.
Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. This change perspective. I guess I just had to, I don't know. It's just, I guess it's something we just had to learn to have that trust again. And then,
yeah,
I mean, and your person too, you know what I'm saying? You know them. I mean, like I said, we don't know it all. We don't know everything,
right.
but you know what I'm saying? We know, like mom says, Mickey don't tarry. Mickey don't do too much tearing around. Don't do too much tearing around because,
That turn is an old school word.
yep,
If
he don't
y'all
do too
don't
much
know
tearing.
what turn means, go look it up.
Go look it up. Go
But
ask your mama,
turn is an
like
old
Sherry Shepherd
school
say.
word of you creeping around.
Yeah, Mickey don't do too much tearing around because she'd be like this. Well, what time Mickey get off? I say 2:30. Well, it's 2:35. He got home already. He don't do too much tearing around, do he? I said, no, he don't do too much tearing around, Miss Carrie.
Ain't nobody got time for that. No.
No, no,
Ain't
no,
nobody got time
no.
for that.
That part. Yes,
Hmm.
yes, that part.
Yeah, ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, it just takes. How about you? Yeah, how about you?
I think it took being upfront and honest and basically saying
Mm-hmm.
what I was willing to accept,
Mm-hmm.
as I know relationships are not perfect,
Mm-hmm.
but honesty became my best policy. It's like we honest with each other and we can get through anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what broke my walls down because in my past, the honesty and once the trust was broken, it was just always hard to
Yeah, this
get
is
it
messy.
back
Yeah, it's
because
messy.
then you have to, that was some work because then everything that had happened to break that trust becomes amplified. If something happens, you tend to think, oh, here we go again,
Yep,
and that that in itself um hinders the relationship
it
because
does.
not you always have that in your back of your mind that something might happen. But once you have the conversation and you talk about
Mm-hmm.
um, how what trust means to you
Mm-hmm.
and how honesty means so much more
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
because we're all human and things might
Right.
happen
Right.
that, and I really don't think people intentionally do things to hurt.
No.
I
Mm-mm.
think we're just
Stuff
human
happens.
and
Yeah.
sometimes we make bad choices.
Mm-hmm.
We do choose to do what we do. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. We choose
Mm-hmm.
those choices. But the thing about it is I think as having the conversation about trust and what it means to you with your partner,
Mhm.
and it helps to make them understand how you're looking to be able to earn that trust. You're gonna have to make me feel
Yeah.
safe to
Uh-huh.
know that, hey, you got my back, you're on my
Mhm.
side. There's nothing out there that's gonna give them what you give, or it's the other way
Mhm.
around. And that's what made a difference here, you know. And I mean, they're like I say, 16 years, 15 years, 17 years, the time frame, you
Yeah.
start to grow with each other and you start
Mhm.
learning each other's personalities, and you learning their likes and their dislikes, and you're
Mhm.
learning their pet peeves, and you're learning how to or when to have a conversation with them because you know things ain't right, or they're not having a good day, or whatever the
Mhm.
case may be. But those things broke down the wall, because then you have that level of trust that goes both ways,
Right. That's right.
because he's trusting me, I'm trusting him.
Mhm.
We're leaning on each other to have each other's
Yeah.
back
That's
and
right.
not put each other in a predicament where we're going to be hurt. And I think in the past, I
Yeah.
think decisions are made when people go out or people do things that they don't talk to their partner about. And I'm just
Mhm.
not talking about extracurricular
Yeah. Mhm.
relationships. I'm just
Yeah.
talking
Just
about
whatever.
anything in your
Anything.
relationship that's not is that you're doing that is not beneficial to your
Mhm.
relationship. If
Mhm.
you do that, then you're not thinking about that partner and
Mhm.
how that might impact the partner. And I think once you start realizing your choices impact your relationship,
Mhm.
then you think about those choices
That's
and
right.
then you have those conversations. So I think that's what it took for me to kind of break down
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
wall.
Yep. Yep.
Now,
Good
we are
combo.
always going to be women. We're going to always have
Oh,
instincts,
absolutely.
you
Yeah, that's
know.
for sure.
But
Mhm.
the thing about it is when we have the instincts and we talk about it,
Mhm.
because the more you hold things in, the more things can get into a point where it might, just blow
Yeah.
up.
I know. And the funny part about like when I said about Mickey that tear, I was like, well, he got all day, so
And
he
the
at
thing
work. I was like,
and the thing about it is if they want to tear, they're gonna tear anyway, right? We
right.
can't control that, right?
But
You know,
here's the thing, I don't even like the trust thing is like, yeah, yeah, just I'm just gonna trust that it just that's what
we
it is
gonna trust, you gotta come in with trust. You haven't done
until
anything to
until
break
I
my
don't.
trust until I don't trust. But if as long as we are talking, like I said, honesty is the best policy. I always say
Yes,
you can
that's
be
exact.
honest with me
Yes,
about anything and we
yep.
can work through everything,
And you
but
gotta
it
have
has to be through
discussions.
honesty, right? It has to
Yeah.
be. Honesty is the best policy.
Policy, and you gotta talk. You
You
got to have the conversation. Yeah.
conversations. I tell you, it's all about conversations. Everything is about a
Yes,
conversation
it
because
is.
that's the things that we hold people hold things in so much.
Yeah, we do.
And
Mm.
it's like, why not just get it out? So number one, you get it out and talk about it, and then you can make your decision on how things are gonna go after you have
Mhm.
the conversation. But not having a conversation can make things worse.
Ooh, yeah.
So now, how did we how did we get to a point where we boss down? Because we was bosses. We were independent bosses, and being able to kind of shut down the boss mode and say, okay, I'm not the boss, I'm the
I know.
queen, and he's the king. And
I
because
know.
he's the king, he's gonna be the one, he's the head, and I'm gonna sit my butt right down. I'm gonna let him be the head. So how do we get to that point where we boss down?
Man, I think, oh gosh, Tosh. I mean, cayenne pepper. I don't know. I think I finally, I guess, after, uh, we started dating, it wasn't all, wasn't all good and gravy in the beginning anyway, but
Right.
we started dating or whatever. And then when he was like, okay, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, right?
Mhm.
So, which that told me, I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to, trust that this is gonna be what it's gonna be. But
Right.
it wasn't easy, that's for sure. But like I said, when I say he shut, he was just like, because you know how Mickey is.
Hmm.
This is And I was like, okay, well, he's a man's man, so here we go. I'm gonna go with the ride, and
You gotta let him be a man.
I've been riding it ever since. So I mean, and like I said, it feels good because I don't have to, even though I still have stress that I put myself under unnecessarily. But
Hmm.
like anything that I don't have to worry about, like household stuff, like
Hmm.
all that kind of stuff, car stuff. Okay, we're gonna take, how,
Hmm.
talk
We did
about.
everything.
We did it all.
We
We
did it all.
did it
The
all.
cars, the house, the bills, the kids, the
Everything.
parents, the family. Did it all.
Everything. And so,
So yeah, I
but it's
feel
good, and
you.
it's also good that that we don't have to do it all, even though we think we still do, especially with our grandkids, but they will come in and be like, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
let's look at this. I'm gonna say it this way. Let's just look at this a different way. Darling. Um, Mickey says, darling, let's just look at this a different way. He really ain't say that, but yeah.
In so many words.
Yes.
That's what
Yeah.
he means.
Yeah. But you get what I'm saying.
I get it. It was hard. It was
Mhm.
definitely hard. And
Yes,
some
sir.
days boss comes in and try to sticker, sticker face, sticker face out like she gonna say something. And then King say, you better sit down.
Uh-huh.
You say what you want to say. And
Yeah.
all you gotta do, he go like this.
Go to get them glasses, like,
He'd be like, did you, what you say? I'd be
mhm.
like, okay, you got it. You
Yep.
know,
You
but
win.
it's like I say, it was hard to let go
Yeah.
because when you were always doing everything, you were the
Mhm.
boss, you knew everything was being taken care of because
Yep.
you did it. It was hard to relinquish that boss mode, right? It was hard to
Mhm.
say, okay, you got it. You a man's man, you the king of the house. God sent you to
Mhm.
me. I need to
Yep.
let you
Let you do it.
rule, right? And
Mhm.
that was like, okay, let me let you rule.
Yep.
But
Yep. And like you said, sometimes we still try to do it, and Mickey be like, you want to do this, or you want me to do
mhm,
it? You just
right.
asked me, but
Hmm.
but you gonna keep on. I'd be like, okay, never mind.
But then after a while, after we started realizing that how once we started relinquishing some of that
Mhm.
boss mode over to the king and saying, okay, I said, Sugar Bear, you got this. I don't
Mhm.
have to do this because I was putting so much on myself because it was just
Yep.
me and sometimes it's just the way I was and I had to
Right.
be
Yep. Yeah.
in that
That.
position.
Mhm.
But now that we relinquish it, we're like, oh my gosh, this how this is supposed to be. It's
And we
like
trust them with
knowing,
that type of thing, you know?
it's
We
like
trust
knowing
them
what a
that they're gonna.
relationship is supposed to be about,
Yeah, right.
getting a relationship and feeling
Mhm.
what it's supposed to be about. You're like, wow,
Yep.
okay, I'm supposed to just be here and he's
Mhm.
supposed to be there. And that alleviates a lot of my stress,
Yep.
right? And and even though, we still have some of the tendencies because it's a protective mechanism that's within
Mhm.
us, to want to make sure that we know what's going on.
Yeah.
We can't control everything that's going on, but we know from experience over the years that we don't have to worry about it
Mm-mm.
because they got it. And they got it. And if they don't got it, then sorry, if they don't have it,
Have it.
and
Mhm.
then they need our support, they know they
Yep.
got it.
That's
We
right.
got their back too. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And there's
That's right.
sometimes that we have to step in because we be like, okay, I got
Yep.
it. I'm coming.
Mhm.
I'm
Yep.
coming.
Yep. Be like, I got this.
Be
You wait.
ready. Be ready to take it. What you
Yep.
need? I
Yep.
might can't move that refrigerator, but what you need me to do? Talk to that salesperson. What you need me to do?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, but I think that that was a wake-up call and also a breath of fresh air for us to be able to um be able to boss it down and allow,
Mhm.
our men to take the role for which God gave them.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
right.
I know it's different than back in the days, you know, our grandparents and all of them, they stayed home, but we, you know, we boss ladies at work. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So we had to learn boss lady at work don't mean boss lady at home. You need to tone that down at home, but be your boss lady at work and let your king be your king at home.
That's right.
And that's what you got to do. You got to trust the process, trust that
Yeah.
God is gonna, you know, work through him to you,
Yep.
and then let the relationship flourish that way. That's why I
And
remember I told you the other day, I was like, you know, I still get butterflies about the
oh
relationship
yeah,
Joe and
yeah.
I have. You know, sometimes we're like, as we've aged, things change. We don't have as much energy as we had
Yeah.
before. But I think we're both aging gracefully and we are in the same place, you
Yeah,
know.
that's right.
So I think that's a good place to be in.
It is. Yeah, it really, really is. Yep. But
So I mean,
it's real, the place is so good, I can just go in there and take a nap.
I
No,
know, and there's no questions like go do what you gotta do. Come back out, do
go in
what
there
you
and take a
gotta do.
nap.
Yeah, it's no worries, it's no shame. It's like we got Mr.
No.
Right, they got our back. And this is what it means to have a helpmate. You know, the Bible
Yeah.
said that's what God provided us with, a helpmate. It takes two to tango, and it takes two, you know, for us to kind of balance out and share our life with. And I think we mastered that through a lot of learning and a lot of past experiences. I
Yeah.
don't regret anything in my past. Don't get me
No,
wrong. 'Cause my
no.
past is why I'm here
That's
today. I
exactly
always
right.
tell people, but what I'm not gonna do is live back there.
No,
So I live
I
here.
know that's right. But you know,
We
we used to do that though. Didn't you used to bring like, yeah, when like you used to bring your past into like a current relationship and stuff like that. Yeah. And so aren't you glad that we don't that
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 wasn't how
that
this
we're past
relationship
there?
even started. Did yours didn't start that? My past was never brought in this relationship. I
No.
mean, we have our kids and you know that part of our
Yeah.
of our lives is in there, but that was also understood.
I
But
don't
everything else is just like it was back
I don't
there.
care. I
And
don't care.
so
Yeah.
yeah,
It is
I,
what it is. But
I
on both
appreciate
sides. I don't, you know,
I
like you
don't know
said,
his past. Yep. We don't
yeah.
talk about it. We
I
don't
don't
need to
don't bring it
because
in here. I don't want to know.
mm-mm,
Good. We just worrying about what we got right here.
what we got right now.
Yeah, that's where we are. Yeah, I don't care. I don't. Yeah.
Right. And nobody should. You because that's like having a conversation about people and you putting them in your space. When you give people that energy to be in your relationship, then you giving them space in your place.
That's right.
I don't need nobody else in my place. It's just him and I. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? So because it's just him and I,
Yep.
then you know that's where we leave it because it's all about us. You know, it's like we in this together. At the end of the day, when them doors close and we in this house, it's us. And even when we out there, it's us.
Yes, that's right.
And that's one thing that's a little different than my past because he's just like that. He's
Yeah.
just like that. He loves that. It
Mm-hmm.
reminds me of me watching his mom and his dad. They like two peas in a pie. When you
Yep.
see one, you see the other. That's just
Mm-hmm.
like Joe and I. When you see him, you see me. And then
Mm-hmm.
so I remember when we first started, it was like you gonna see Joe was everywhere. Joe was with us at
Oh yeah, Joe.
Joe used to come with us to he was the he was the only guy.
He was like,
Joe was
you
hanging.
been going by yourself, ma'am.
Sugar Bear said, "I'm with you."
Yep. And this how it's gonna be.
And that's how it's gonna be. And that's
Ma'am.
how it is. And I'm
Mhm.
appreciative to
There
it.
ain't nothing
It's
wrong
not
with it.
even, yeah, and you know, it all depends on what each other likes, what it's as long as that relationship is grounded on what them two individuals in that
Mm-hmm.
relationship like, adore, makes them feel whole, secure,
Mm-hmm.
and safe. That's all that matters.
That's it.
Nothing else matters.
Nothing
Yep.
else matters.
Good stuff. Good
This was a good one.
stuff.
Oh yeah.
So I wonder that what the audience thinks. What do you all think? I mean, whether you're in a relationship, you're single, looking for a relationship, what do you think about your relationship that
Mhm.
you adore? And do you, did you take things you learned from your past to
Mhm.
make your relationship what it is today? You don't bring your past relationships and your current relationships, do you?
Mm.
Do you, are you waiting and allowing God to send to you who he wants you to be with, or you rushing the process? What's going on out there in TikTok land? What's going out there in YouTube land? What's going out there in Instagram land?
No.
How are you all embracing your relationships? Are
Mhm.
you submissing? And some people take that word the wrong way. That doesn't mean you bow down to anybody.
Mhm.
What that means is you let a man be a man, and a man needs to be a man. Let him be a
Yes,
man.
do not cut them out.
You just there to give the accent, to be the accent to the man.
Mhm.
Let him be the man. So what are you all doing?
Yep.
Let us know.
It's the
All right,
same way.
Paprika.
Yep, it's the same way. We want to let them be a man, just like let us be the woman. Let us be a woman. Just let us be who we are.
Let us be who we are.
Let us be
We
who we
should be able to be in a safe space, being who we are and not changing for anybody, and they're not having to change for us. Now,
are.
there are things that we reflect on that we want to change, but that has to be something that you want to do. It's not because somebody's trying to make you do it, because you ain't gonna ever do that. So,
Mhm.
wow. Episode
Yeah,
9.
I know already.
Yeah, I loved episode 9.
Yeah, that was
We
good.
said we was gonna get to this point and talk about questions people had about, when did we know it was the right relationship for us?
Mhm.
Because, yeah, we had some tough times coming through, but the tough times helped us get where we were. We had some good times
Mhm.
coming through too.
That's right.
But we're at a place now where, we enjoy every day with our partners.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Sugar Bear and I, love waking up still to each other and love going to sleep
Mm-hmm.
by each
Yep.
other and being there for one another. And I
Mm-hmm.
know you and Mixture do too.
Yeah, I used to be a time where he would go to bed at, you know, 7 o'clock, and then I'd be still up watching TV. Now we both go to bed at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, you tend
Yeah.
to tend to
Now we're both there.
turn into your
Mm.
partner after a
And
while.
it makes sense. It's okay. I don't have no
But
problem.
you have more energy when you do that, right?
Right. It makes sense. 'Cause I'm
Because
like, why
when
you
we,
go to bed so early? But now I get it.
but now when we go to bed and we realize a lot of stuff we're doing makes us it's really a mind thing where
It is.
it gives us some stress relief to be able
Mm-hmm.
to relax, something we're not used to doing, not in our minds and not in our bodies. We ain't used to relaxing. Don't know how to sit still, but now we do. We
Yeah.
know how to sit still and we know how to
Mhm.
allow things to happen as they happen.
Mhm.
Because we only can control what we can control.
Mhm. That's right.
Amen to that. Well,
And
all right. So thank you all for coming. Grow me,
mm,
please. Yes,
yeah.
we're trying to grow you. Look, Malcolm said, grow me, please.
All right.
Grow me. Okay. Well, we thank you all for joining us on TikTok
Yeah.
Live as we have started that element. We're going to learn some new technology as we
Yeah.
go. We're
I'm
going to
getting
pick
better.
this thing up a couple steps as we move along. But our next episode is episode 10. We're hitting a milestone. We had a milestone for episode 10. So we're gonna cook up something a little special. We're gonna stir
Mhm.
up something a little special for that uh that milestone episode for you guys. But we
Mhm.
appreciate you all joining
Yeah.
us.
Thank you.
We
Thank
thank
you.
you all for being a part of our season conversation. Should I say our season
Convo.
podcast? But with all the conversations we have, they are a little seasoned. Some of them are up to date as far as we talking about today's things that are going on today. So stick with us, stay around, stay
Yeah.
with us on this journey.
Yeah.
Look out for the next episode when we put that one together and we post. But this one will be posted this week. Thank you again for joining. Paprika, you want to see us
Hey.
out?
I know. It was a good number 9. Number 9. Number 9. We're on our way to number 10. Also, folks out there in Cyberland, or I don't know, is that the right word? What are we saying
It
nowadays?
is.
If y'all want to see something or not say something, if you want to, want us to talk about something, a topic that you're interested in, let us know. Hit us up. Hit us up on TikTok. Email us.
Yes.
Yep. And if you also, have something to add to this podcast, let us know as well.
Exactly.
But that's
Yep.
about it. This is good.
All right. Well, we want to thank God for all that He's doing. We want to thank God for all that He's done. And we're going to thank God for all that He's going to do. And we
Amen.
thank you for being here with us. Until next time, you all have a wonderful day. And we'll talk to you again on season Convo. All
Bye.
right. Take care.